Otali Giduwah. Hey, welcome back. So today what I am going to cover is the Cherokee English Online Dictionary. I never say that, I always say the CED. The Cherokee English Online Dictionary. It is an online database of Cherokee words. I think that would be obvious, but for some reason I felt the need to say it just then. I don't know why. In any case, the way this project started in 2013 as an idea to transcribe the entire Cherokee English Dictionary that was written by, or put together by Durbin Feeling in 1975. It is still published today. You can find it on the Cherokee Nation website. Sometimes you can find it on Amazon. The site itself was put together by, well, myself. I put the site together, I put the database together. There was a whole slew of people that put this together as far as transcribing the data, because the information from the dictionary itself and into the database. And then since then we have added a bunch of other resources from people transcribing from original sources like the King Dictionary, the King Word List, whatever you want to call it, and other websites that have granted us permission, the Cherokee Word List, different items like that. In any case, what I am going to do is give you a brief introduction to the Cherokee English Dictionary online, and then give you some pointers on searching and what different things are going on with the site itself, so that you can better traverse the landscape, if you will. The first thing you see when you come to the main page is you'll see the navigation at the top: home, transliterate, grammar guide, about, and login. After that, you'll see the title, and then you'll see the date. If you hover over each one of the blue items here, like Taline or Taline, you'll see the number 2. That just means it's the second. So this is Monday, 2nd of September, 2019. I have a bug to fix this because this year back here for 19 isn't exactly correct. So please don't add that in the comments, because it is a bug. And I will post links to get to this site, as well as if you happen to find an issue while you're searching, or you don't know if it's an issue, you can submit a bug, and then I'll look at it. Currently there are like 50 bugs, I think, in there. Some of them are features, some of them are bugs. That's not important. In any case, how you get to the site is CherokeeDictionary.net, or you can go to theced.net. Again, links in the description below, as well as links to the Cherokee Language Facebook page and the Cherokee Dictionary Facebook page itself, so that you can get updates on notifications and things that I work on. Sometimes through the year I post notes saying, hey, this is coming up, these are the things I'm working on, that kind of thing, so that people will know. Also, this video will also go in my Facebook group. After that, like I said, any of these you can hover over. This number 2, you'll see each one of those. So if you want to know today's date, you can put that. You can come here and see what it is in Cherokee. And I want to point out first that when I talk about this, there are 2 different ways to write Cherokee. There is the Latin character set, which is basically the English alphabet, and then there's syllabary. They are both Cherokee. There's not, I want to write this in Cherokee, and you're talking about syllabary or the Latin character set. They are both Cherokee. So if you say, I want to write this in syllabary, that's different than I want to write this in Cherokee, because writing it in Cherokee, nobody really knows what you mean. They assume you mean syllabary, but nobody really knows, okay? The next thing is, you'll see a lot of sources starting with the Holmes Smith book that had dashes. I think they started it. I actually don't know that for sure, but that was in the 1975-ish era as well. Nobody uses dashes. It's all together. Those were done to separate the syllables, which is what the syllabary is made of. Each syllable, like this, is ta, li, I, ya, yu, etc. on down the line, ga. So each one of those has a different syllable, and the dashes were put in the Holmes Smith book to separate those syllables. Nothing wrong with that. We don't use them on this site at all. However, I'm going to test something, and I don't know if this will work or not. It does. So if you happen to type in with, I thought I did, but you never know. If you happen to type it in with dashes like this, achuja, then you hit the phonetic entry, it will still work as well. That one should work as well, yeah. So, because I strip out those dashes, so they won't actually show up. So the first thing is the phonetic. Sometimes I will say phonetic, sometimes I will say Latin character set A through Z. There aren't, not all of those values are in Cherokee. As a matter of fact, the V that you see is U. So you'll have to remember that. As you can find any number of Cherokee syllabary cards on the internet to go help you read syllabary. Eventually there will be one on here. I haven't finished it yet, and there will be there's a keyboard. If you want to, you can also go to transliterate, and when I show you that part, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you want to type in the Latin character set and get syllabary. So, like I showed you, you type in 훠sekᎩ-ᏲᎦ, which is boy, and you hit enter, and then it will come up with the list. And you'll see that there are a lot of these. This one doesn't mean boy, but boy is over here in the sentence. If you just want to search for entries that have 뾱sekᎩ in them, you can do exclude sentences, which is just by unchecking this box, and then you will only get entries. So there's no boy over here except in this one because the entry is boy. So after that, you'll have syllabary. So if I copy this syllabary and I put it in here and then I hit enter, it will show up. And as well, you notice that these have an autocomplete for you. You can select any one of those. You can see the spelling is different here, 뾱sekᎩ. It's still the same. It doesn't matter if it's JA or TSA. In another video, I will explain the differences between TSA, J, and CH, as well as GW versus QU. They're all the same. They're just a different way of, well, we'll say spelling. So spelling to me, if I say that, if I'm talking about syllabary, it just means the syllable is wrong, not that it was misspelled, because you can't actually do that. Or if I'm talking about the Latin character set or the phonetic version, then I am talking about something that was actually incorrect. And those do come up, and we do have a group of people that when those errors come up and they're submitted, then we can fix them. All of the references on the site, we don't mess with those. They come directly from the source. If we know that they're incorrect, for example, if you are looking at a source and the source is incorrect, like it says ﷺ, but it's they wrote ﷺ, then we will correct that because that is incorrect. However, the source itself remains intact. We don't add or take away words. We don't do mixing of that data. All of these are separate in the database, so the accountability is there. So if you ask me anything about this site and you want to know if the sources are there, they are bibliographied and indexed. So we have accountability for all of that stuff. And the reason for that is to make sure that the source is 100%, even if the source came from a less than 100% source item. So for example, the Cherokee New Testament, let's say for some reason that was translated and the person who translated it did it incorrectly. If they translated it incorrectly and it is that source, it will be entered into the database that way. So that's a lot of information. I'm sorry about that. I love this project. Been on it for almost, for over 6 years now, along with many other people that are in the transcription project. You can type in English, you can type bleeding, and again, you'll see the drop downs here. You can also search by category. This is one of my favorite things that we've added recently, and shout out to Mary Ray for providing a lot of these. She's not the only one that provided categories. Duncan provided some as well, Duncan Britton. Shout out to him. Many other people have provided other categories. Microsoft, as a matter of fact, provided one of the categories that is not showing currently. However, they are in the searches, so you can search by the Microsoft computer terms, which is over here, if you want to just search for Microsoft computer terms. And those were translations that were done for Windows 7. And every version after Windows 7, you may see, you may switch your version to the Cherokee, instead of English or Spanish or French or whatever, you may switch it to Cherokee, and your entire UI will be in Cherokee as long as the application is supported. So if Chrome supports Cherokee, it will be in Cherokee, but the operating system itself will all read in Cherokee, or the syllabary, which is what I mean. So I just mentioned that, and then I just screwed it up, so you're welcome. Not everybody is perfect. So selecting category, you may select, well, let's say states. So you click category, and then you can see all of the states that have been transcribed, and then you can find out where they were from. Over here, you will see a list. In this case, these aren't showing up because I haven't updated this list. However, CNLD is for Cherokee Nation, I think, language database. I'll have to look in a moment. If you click here, which that one is, okay, that's correct. If you click here, you will see more information about it. You can see the source, which is not currently in here, but it should be. And I don't know why, that may be a bug. In any case, you'll see the definition, the part of speech, the entry, and what category it is. Sometimes you will see you'll see a different annotation here, and I'll show you one of those in a little bit. Also on this page, if you don't know how to use these, you can hover over the instructions and you will see a little section, which right here it actually says you cannot use the dashes. I fixed that because I guess at some point we had somebody typing in dashes, and so I fixed that. So because we wanted to be user-friendly, as user-friendly as possible, and not people to go, why isn't this working? And the way that this came about for me was in December of 2012, well, summer to December of 2012, I was working on my own app for the dictionary. And I got tired of going to apps and you had to type in the dashes. So I wrote the first transliteration engine, and it's actually, I've modified it since then to work with this, and that's only through years of using this transliteration engine, which is open source and you can use. It will also be in the link below, along with the conjugation engine in its current state. It is evolving, and I will do another video on both of those at a different time, not today. Down here, there are some other additional instructions that you can know, and the advanced search. I will not be covering the advanced search today. There are some parts that are broken that I am currently working on, so I will not be covering that today. As well, you will see the two links to the two Facebook groups that I will also link below. However, I think that's kind of redundant, but I'm going to do it anyway because someone will be like, I forgot where he said to do that. Just go to the video. There are the two links. And then there is a disclaimer down here. And the important part of this disclaimer is this last part, the Microsoft agreement. This end user license agreement is explains it on the About page. Basically what it means is that we got a download of their terms from them, including all definitions, and we're using that in this database. And it basically says you don't hold Microsoft accountable for any of the data that you got or any damage that may occur because of their data or their software, which we're not using anything. There's no way that you could have any damages from that because this is a web page and not anything else. However, it is part of the agreement that we included on the site. It is included on the site. There you go. That is all of that you need to know. Real quick, let's cover, I'm going to cover a verb because we have some pretty awesome bleeding. I don't know why I typed bleeding. How about that? So every different part of speech is represented here. Currently, verbs, you get these conjugations, and you can open up a conjugation page that will tell you these different things. These like SG1, SG2, SG3, etc. They come from the dictionary itself. One of the notes that I have is to make these more user-friendly. So you'll see I, you, he, she, it. Dual one included means us two and them, or us both, that kind of thing. And then down here you'll see a definition of what the present tense means, and this comes from the grammar guide. You can also select different tenses like infinitive, and then it'll tell you more about the infinitive here. If I click search, it'll show you the infinitive version. So I'm going to log in real quick because I want to show you another feature that is coming up, and you need to know because it is really cool. If you go to the verb table, you will see this verb, and there is something going on here that I don't know why it's doing that. So that's a bug. So I'm going to have to review this video and put in my own bugs. In any case, you will see that the whole conjugations are here, again with the present tense down at the bottom, and you can click Show Hide Transliteration. So let's say you want this verb and you want to print it out for some reason or take a screenshot, you may indeed do so. There is a mobile version of this. It is a little bit simpler to look at on your phone. However, it is not fully complete, but it is better than just looking at it. This giant, we used to have, it was just a giant page and you'd have to scroll over. It is much better now. In any case, let's get to the next piece of this. This is the verb generator. This is the next part that I am working on, and I am really excited about this. I've been talking with several members, including someone who wrote the VRB, and I use a lot of sources that I lay out on my table, and when I'm coding these aspects, I sit down in the conjugation engine and I research the crap out of each one of those. I pull those sections, I annotate them in the code so that when you read the code, you will go, why did he do it this way? You can read in each one of the different books the bibliography of where that stuff came from, what page it was, that kind of thing. Know where to look it up because maybe I misread something. And if I did, then I need to be corrected. But maybe you're wrong and you look and you go, oh yeah, nope, that was correct. You don't know. Nobody knows until after you read it. What we have here are the prefixes. And these prefixes, eventually there will be, there are 5 parts to a verb. There is the initial, the pronoun, the verb root, the non-final suffix, and then the final suffix. Those 5 parts make up a verb. Not every part is part of that. Just know that there are 5 parts, and it is covered in the grammar guide. If you click that link above in the, at the top of the page, you can go to the grammar guide and you can read all about the different parts of the grammar. And this is just one. This grammar guide is just one piece that I use to make up the code for this. So let's get back to this. So ye, g, things like ye, we. When you put them together, they make you, we. The I becomes a U, so I do all of that work in the conjugation engine. This is something that I am super excited about, and then I will give a, eventually there will be a description off to the side that says this is a negative, plural or whatever it is off to the side of this verb, so then you'll know that it was, he wasn't bleeding or whatever, so like in this case, and then as well, if there are other pieces that you that need to be known, like this is correct, and I have tests that I use on all the code, so it's not as important. Again, you can show hide transliteration. I don't know why you would here because you're only doing one, but you may if you want. Let's see. The next thing is if you want to know which word list this came from. You can hover over the RRD, the CNOMED, etc., and find out which word list it came from. You will see the part of speech. Here you have the word. I showed you this before. You can see all of the infinitive, all of that stuff, the definitions, the category, notes, any notes that are there. Some of these have, like this one I think has a note. Yeah, notes are anatomy and terms instead of a category of anatomy and physiology because category didn't exist at the time that I created this part. That will come up in the future. Then after that you have the part of speech, which this is an intransitive verb, this would be an adjective, and then it would be a noun, that kind of thing. He is bleeding, the definition. If there's a plural like this one, uniga, I don't even know if I said that right. If you don't speak it right, or if you don't say it right, you don't speak it right, really? That doesn't even sound right. If you don't talk it better, then don't worry about that. If you are trying to learn Cherokee and you say it wrong, it does not matter, and here's why it doesn't matter. If you're talking to someone who speaks Cherokee and they know how to pronounce it correctly, they will correct you. It is okay. The important part is that you are trying to learn Cherokee. That is the most important part of your pronunciation. And if you are trying to put sentences together, put those together, put them in the language group that I linked below. People will help you. If you don't know how to say something, people will help you. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to preserve the language for future generations. not just myself and the entire Cherokee Dictionary team. There are a bunch of people, scores of people, including fluent native speakers that want to help you. After that, you will see down here, sometimes you will see comma delimited, that means comma separated values. So here are two plurals of uniga. And then, so this is the syllabary, then you have the transliterated value, which is the character set, remember that, the phonetics, and then the tones, and these tones tell you how to speak it. And I clearly don't, because this is U2, which is middle, NI middle, and then NE, it goes up, so it'll be what? Uninega, something like that. I don't actually know. So there you go. I don't actually know. I write a lot of code. I work on Cherokee. I live in Southwest Missouri. I don't make it to Oklahoma that much. I do make it out to North Carolina occasionally, and I still don't speak it well at all. That is okay. So then you have your verbs, your verb tenses, first person present, third person past, third person present habitual, second imperative, and third infinitive. If you want to know more about these, again, check out the grammar guide. And then sometimes we have example sentences using these, which are also in syllabary. They have the transliterated value, and then they have the English translation after that. Not always, and I actually think never do we have the tones for sentences. I'm pretty sure that's a never. I cannot think of a single one. Sometimes you'll have a see also over here, so moving on, you'll have a see also, and that see also means there is a related word that you'll want to look at. That is currently broken on the site. I'm sorry. I found that out when I was recording this earlier, and it kind of broke my concentration, so I had to record it again. However, there is sometimes a see also, and that see also simply means if you click on that, you'll see the word you were looking up, the related word that it could be, and then you can go to that word if you want. When that is fixed, I will show you that eventually. Next, you have transliterate. One of the things when I was working on, I don't remember which book I was working on, which corpus. I was working on Charlotte's Web, I think, maybe? No. I don't remember which one it was. We found out something interesting that I didn't know, and actually a lot of people didn't know, that there are Cherokee English mashed words, such as Ani Ridge. This is one, it was actually Ani Ridges. So if you want to use this, I say Latin script. There are some instructions up here. You simply put it in here. If you have an English word, you put these brackets, it's the less than, E, and then greater than, and then you put that right before your word, and it will leave the English alone when you do this. And that is a special thing that I created for that transliteration project that I worked on to add those to the corpus. So then you click to syllabary, and you will see right here, Waldo Ani Ridge, Baltimore, Hoa. That is all that there is to know. If you want to go back the other way, it will not add these tags. So if I go from syllabary, you can see that those tags are missing. So if you want to, if you translate from or transliterate from syllabary to the Latin character set, the phonetics, you you will have to re-add those inserts like that, and they can be up against something. They can have a space in front of them or behind them, or in front of them but not behind them. So that's what you need to know, and you can clear both sides if you want to. So chuja, chuja, chuja. All those will be the same thing. It handles all of that for you. Now, going from, it will only give you the one. And that is on purpose because I don't know which one you came from, and I'm not going to look that up in the database when I do the transliteration because the transliteration engine itself is self-contained. It's probably more information you wanted to know. However, that is what we have. Moving on. If you have any problems with this or any questions, you can post in the Cherokee language group, the Cherokee Dictionary Project, or if something happens and you find a bug, which you may or may not, you can post that in the Bitbucket error the issues page. So moving on to the grammar guide. The grammar guide is also a transliterated, it's not transliterated, transcribed portion from the Cherokee English Dictionary that Durbin Phelan created. Published, however, I say created, published, however you want to do semantics at this point. In any case, you have, you can go to a specific section and find out more about that. It is super long. There are words that that are in red. I can't remember why those are there. I think they mean that they are incorrect. That's an incorrect usage, or I'll have to ask Tommy. In any case, you can see that here are the 5 parts that I talked about before: the initial prefixes, the pronoun prefixes, the root, the non-final suffix, and the final suffix. And in order, these are all prefixes. So these prefixes must be in this order. That is also part of the conjugation engine. So it would always be Y before W, before N, before DE, before da, or D, before E, ga, etc. So if you want to know how to use these, simply go find your, like, Y is negative. So you come down here to Y negative, and then you can find out like no, and then the negative here, and then you add that to your verb, your conjugated verb. Or in this case, it is because of the Ellison that happens here, which is explained, right? Things like this. When Y directly precedes H, metathesis occurs, which I said Ellison, but metathesis is actually the real name for it. As well, you can keep going, and this covers nouns and verbs, and then all of the suffixes, compounds, etc. And then also the different parts of speech and the word order and some other items. So it is a fantastic resource to have. It is a fantastic resource to read. If you're starting out, just do it, and then come look at this and figure out what you might need, post it in the group, ask questions, people will help you. The About section is next, and this is basically about the project. It is not a complete overview. It is a welcome to the project. It is telling you more about it. It is also showing you the reason why we have the Microsoft agreement on the front page, and it lists all of the people that I know of that worked on the transliteration part of the original dictionary. And as I said before, there are multiple sources. These are not the only sources that are here. You know, the word list, the consortium word list, the nation medical terms, North Carolina medical terms, etc. There are a few other sources that aren't listed on here. They're not listed here just because I haven't had time to put them, add those to that. I have a list of bugs. I have to work with those. In any case, as well, you need to know this. There are 2 dialects to Cherokee. There's Otali, which is west, and there's Giduwah, which is east. Everything from Oklahoma is west, usually. That's not always the case, but almost always, including the Durbin Phelan Dictionary. The Raven Rock Dictionary is the King version, which is Eastern dialect, and that simply is the difference between Hawa and Hoa. There are some subtle, we'll call them spelling variations, and some other dialectical differences. However, for the most part, I don't distinguish on the site. That is coming up along with sound recordings. There will be a distinction between east and west, and actually some of the consortium word list items show a west and an east, and we see those. There'll be a parenthesis around a W, comma, and then another word, and then a parenthesis, E, and then an end parenthesis. So that's enough about that. If you have any questions, you can send emails to CherokeeDictionary@gmail.com. I actually don't check those as often as I should. I probably should check that very soon, because sometimes I get questions and then it's months later and I have forgotten about it. Here are the things that, as a normal user, you don't have access to. These include source management, and this is what I was telling you. These are all the sources that we have in the dictionary: the Cherokee Consortium word list, the Raven Rock Dictionary, Holmes-Smith, if it is the Montgomery Anderson reference of Oklahoma Cherokee, Magog, Facebook groups, if it's any Facebook group, and it lists the Facebook group, and we have bibliographies for these that are not entirely here. This one is just PDF. This is the one that I uploaded just yesterday, and it was the bank's etymology of plants, I believe. I don't remember. There's so many of these that come up. But that's why I have source management, is to remember where they came from, and I need to add some of those to the end result. If we want to add a new entry, we have that capability. We can enter a new database entry. We can also edit those. If you looked if you looked over here, there's an edit function. I can go in. I can click that. Anybody that's a management can click that, and they'll be able to edit those. We have announcements. Last year for the holiday words, I added some holiday words, and when those come up, try this again. So with those enabled, click home, and then you'll see those holiday words. So if there's an announcement coming up like an outage or anything like that, I will add those here. In addition, there is an alert page, and that one has some alerts. So if there's something coming up and I have a bunch of these announcements or alerts that are coming up, there is an alert page, and then that will show a red bar at the top, and you can view those alerts. So if there's an outage or something's happening, I put those up there. Those are very few and far between that we have to use those. There is Corpus Main, and Corpus Main is currently there aren't any items in the production database. They're all in my local database. However, and that doesn't work because it's not up there yet. But what this allows us to do is I have a collection of Excel spreadsheets, and so they've been put together by several sources. However, most of them come from one source, and what I do is I upload those Excel spreadsheets to the database, and then those can be used for machine translation. And basically what it does is it takes that corpus material and it lines them up, it puts them in the database, then I add every single sentence that we have in the database to that corpus list, so when it's exported and it can be used in machine translation, then it goes through there and it figures those out. And that's a whole other thing, and those lists will eventually be available to download but not to upload. Since we only want one person kind of controlling those, or one group kind of controlling those, so that we make sure that the data isn't corrupted. And those are all bibliography and annotated as well. Trying to think if there's anything else that I have missed on the site. I can't think of anything right now, and I'm sorry this is a long video. It was supposed to be an introduction. It has taken much longer than I expected because I gave you a little bit more information than I wanted to, or I was expecting to, really. But if you dislike this video, click dislike. If you like this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I plan on every Sunday doing an additional piece of the Cherokee English Dictionary to get around, like advanced search, more about transliteration and how to use it, the grammar guide about logins, the login pieces that we have, editing, any additional updates that are coming up. So those are things that you're going to want to stay around for. I will also post those on the Cherokee Dictionary Project Facebook page, as well as the Transliteration Project. Other than that, as always, until next time, dodo de go